And welcome back everybody to our second broadcast of the day. We are here with the Rak'Shir Team League Season 1 Division 1 Semi-Finals. I'm of course your host Live VIP, and with me I'm currently on my own. I'll be later joined by a lovely co-caster, soon TM, soon. And we are here in a best of 7. Oh, we made it all the way to the semifinals. Some didn't believe it would be possible, but the Ducklings are here, and we have quite a series ahead of us. We are going up against Platinum Heroes in a pretty stacked lineup, in a pretty stacked best of 7, not gonna lie. Quickly hopping over to our bracket team, we can see the matchups here and now. We're going to be starting off with a bit of a TVT. Following that up, we're going to be getting into Vindicta versus Art, StarDuck versus HateMe on Waterfall. Vindicta versus Art will be on Data C. And our first series will be a TVT Dolan versus AqueroN. I have certain things to say about these matchups, but we'll save them. We'll save them for a little bit later. But it's going to be a stacked best of 7. Our players are just getting ready, just waiting for their confirmation, and boom, we are beginning our series on Cosmic Sapphire. Best of luck to Platinum Heroes. I know a bunch of them are going to be watching there in the chat. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Platinum Heroes, we do have relatively close ties with them. A lot of respect to their team, as they have been, I don't know, like, they have a similar story to the CranKy Ducklings, where Platinum Heroes, they started off, you know, as a more amateur team, then they started running their own events, and now here we are with a pro roster. Very solid pro roster. Speaking of, spawning in the top left hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have our Spanish Terran player representing Platinum Heroes. It is AqueroN. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have the newest of the CranKy Ducklings. He is from the land of the Americas. He is the yellow Terran. It is Dolan. Quack. Get some quacks in the chat. We won't have predictions open for this series because, you know, we're gonna be a little bit biased, and yeah, it's really hard to call a best of 7 of all things. But yeah, we'll see kind of where things turn out. I'll be honest, I wanted to avoid this matchup, this series specifically. Oh god, as I quickly rectify, there we go, best of 7. I was hoping that one of our other players would get AqueroN instead, but Dolan got him, and in a bit of a TVT, I worry a little bit here. Like, both of these players are very powerful, very strong in their own right. Really interesting lineup revealed here by Platinum Heroes. I honestly expected Eba to be a part of it. We may have planned for Eba, to be honest. That may have been the case. But yeah, he is not here to be seen. Regardless, a really nice array of players, a Terran, a Protoss, and a Zerg being fielded by Platinum Heroes. When it comes to ourselves, again, we do have our 2 American players and StarDuck towards the end. StarDuck, of course, our resident Australian degen, is awake at the most awful hours possible. And I also wish him the best of luck. Ooh. As for those wondering, originally, I'm okay with divulging this here in the early game. Originally, as we do have mirrored builds and mirrored matchups right now, I was going to have Eric to come in for this series, for game number 3 on Waterfall. Unfortunately, Eric seems to be a little bit unavailable this week. If we do make it to the finals, I would love to have Eric involved in some way, but that means we won't have that ZVZ, HateMe versus Eric. Instead, HateMe versus StarDuck. So, a bit of a feels bad, man. I would have loved for our resident kangaroo to be a part of this, but I guess we have another kangaroo instead in that StarDuck. Meanwhile, we are getting into our series. So far, so good. Like, again, pretty mirrored builds here. Both players are getting their natural bases on location. We're working on our Reapers as well. Bit of a kind of a different kind of pathway to the same build, where we had a much faster reactor here for Dolan, so he's gonna have 2 Reapers being built at a time. Meanwhile, AqueroN prioritizes the second Reaper, then focusing on his reactor. You know, slight differences here, but nothing too major, as our first divergent point is here. We have a Widowmine coming out for AqueroN. And with that, he's going to have a little bit of a defender's advantage. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for Dolan to be the aggressor here, as both players are kind of respecting us and respecting each other, and both players are just kind of chilling here, waiting for their units to come out. And here we go, 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions going to be moving out across the map for Dolan. He is going to have a little bit of a lead when it comes to the firepower, but it all depends on this Woodmine shot. How good is it going to be? Is Dolan going to spot this before it goes off? As here we go. It looks like he has barely spotted it. He's going to be soaking it up with a Hellion of all things. Then he dives on forward to try and get a little bit more damage, but there's plenty of time to defend. A Reaper falls in the process, and AqueroN just swats away this aggression. Dolan ends up losing a Hellion and a Reaper. Does get a little bit of scouting information here at the natural, but after seeing the initial units, he should recognize what the opener was, and yeah, he's going to back up from here. And from here, we get into our typical 1-1-1. You know, both players are going for their Cyclones to have that anti-air in case either one went for a Banshee. I know that's kind of risen a little bit in popularity. Speaking of, AqueroN does reposition his Widowmine as well, just in case something were to come and slip into his main base, as both players are working on their Ravens. Meanwhile, across the map, AqueroN finally moving out across as he has his own map control. He forced Dolan back, and 2 SCVs, 3 SCVs going down. Oh my god. A little bit more than we really anticipated. Even though with these handful of Marines, it looks like, okay, he's going to finally be able to force AqueroN back. Again, though, not without losing those workers. Well worth it here for AqueroN, not just to get the worker kills, but also to get a full scout of the main base. And he's going to get another. Oh my god. 4. Are we going to get 5? Oh my god, potentially. No, barely, not 5 in the end. But again, a lot of havoc was wreaked here by these Reapers. It's 2 Reapers of AqueroN. With that, he's going to enjoy a very nice worker lead here, 35-28 of Dolan. So yeah, so far a pretty good start here from AqueroN, being able to deflect the initial aggression, being able to counterattack, being able to get a full scout off. Like, so far the early game, I have to say, is well in the hands of our Platinum Heroes Terran. But we'll see if that's going to continue. Oh my god. As we see once again AqueroN moving out with his 2 Cyclones. I can say the same for Dolan with his own. Looks like both armies are barely going to miss each other on opposite sides of the map. Can they get much done though? I mean, with our tanks sieged up here for both players, it's going to be a tough ask. As AqueroN just flirts here with the natural base, taking another massive shot to the face. Meanwhile, a little bit of Raven harass here. Once again, Dolan losing 3 more SCVs. The Raven tucked away in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. And unfortunately for Dolan, his own Ravens are being used defensively here at home. Meanwhile, we do see him try and catch one of the Cyclones. It looks like he will. Can he get both? Up. Ooh. Barely will catch both Cyclones. So finally a little bit of a win here for Dolan. Finally, being able to at least take down those Cyclones is not the biggest of deals. I mean, there's always a world where potentially Dolan can get a solid lock-on with his own Cyclone, as the Raven comes in once again. I'm afraid to look, Papi. I'm afraid to look. Looking at the units lost tab, 10 SCVs have gone down this game for Dolan. Ay. Definitely a rough start here. The other thing that hurts is the fact that this Raven is still alive, still banking up that energy, still going to be useful later on in that engagement. I guess the one upside for Dolan is the fact that his own Ravens are going to have that much more energy to make use of, so he's going to have a little bit more versatility in that big fight. A little bit though, like, again, it's not like AqueroN doesn't have his own Ravens backing up energy. Just less. Meanwhile, here we go, third base going to be landed here on location for AqueroN. Dolan actually opting not to go for his own third, which is why I thought it was peculiar that he got a 4th Raven. I think he recognizes how far behind he is economically, and he's like, okay, let's double down. Let's go double starport. Let's make nothing but Vikings. And this is a build that Special whipped out, I believe it was in DreamHack, a couple of times in his own TVTs, and it caught a lot of people off guard. It is a 2-base all-in. With your mass amount of Vikings, you're going to be able to take control of the skies, going to be able to take control of all these Ravens, and with that, make full use of your own. So here we go. Can Dolan pull this off? I don't believe AqueroN was able to fully scout this. He never saw the 2nd starport, by the way. We see a scan at the 3rd base. Again, AqueroN is none the wiser. Not yet. Not now. Until he finally gets that scan off. Gonna be forced to cancel on that center tower. Dolan is trying to find a way in. Can he do it? Again, he's completely all in with what he's doing. Looking at the units tab, he is up double the Viking count. Oh, looks like we're going to see the first disable on one of these tanks. More auto charts are going to be thrown down here by both of our players. Vikings will be able to clean up everything in the sky, but what about on the ground? Dolan, his tanks are a little bit too far back. Oh, he's forced to land all of his Vikings. Is this really going to be enough? He's pulling back towards the range of his tanks. He does take a lead in that tank count. AqueroN losing so much here again. He may be up at base, he may be up at workers, but he is down in army supply. Oh, Dolan doesn't have enough energy for another interference matrix. It looks like he barely doesn't, despite having 4 ravens, despite all of his ravens, 3 of his ravens still being alive. Here we go, he slowly leapfrogs forward. With the help of this Liberator, he's going to be able to take down this tank as well. AqueroN, he had no idea that this was coming. He was looking to get into more of a macro game, but that's not what Dolan had in store for him. In the end, ooh, Dolan loses 2 of his Ravens. A little bit unfortunate with that control, but what he lacks in Ravens, he still makes up for in those tanks. 3rd base, 3rd CC. Their workers at least are going to be going down. Liberator gets caught out a little bit here. Dolan, he's letting this slip away. Like, despite having a really great first engagement, losing that Liberator, losing those Ravens, a little bit too many mistakes here. He still makes up for that when it comes to the Vikings. He can always land that, but he still lacks those Marines. Dolan is actually expanding behind this, so he's going to be looking to get his 3rd base up and running. Can he find any more room here? Can he make any more headway at the natural? Ooh, barely doesn't get those tanks. Oh my god, that was so close. Ooh, and without those tanks, there was a little bit of an unsiege there. AqueroN, he dives on forward, and with his mass Marines, it looks like he will be able to clean up every single tank of Dolan. Ay, ay, ay. This started off as a 2-base all-in. It was designed to kill his opponent, and honestly, Dolan almost pulled it off. AqueroN had no idea what was happening. Unfortunately for Dolan, losing all those tanks means he loses his advantage. He's still behind when it comes to the 3rd CC. He doesn't really have much of an army remaining here back at home. I'm afraid to look, but he has 3 Vikings, 2 Libs, and a tank. No Marine production at all. And I worry that this double drop may just be lights out here for Dolan. His worker count is in shambles. He's trying to get into mech here, throwing down 2 more factories, trying to slow the game down. If he can somehow survive this double drop, maybe he can get his 3rd, and maybe he can get into this. But it's a solid maybe. Oh god. We'll see here as the Marines get into the main base. Every single worker is going to be going down. He has control of the production. Vikings are going to do what they can to swat this away, but again, it is not going to be enough here. The Vikings go down, so do the workers, so does the production, and GG gets called. AqueroN will take game number 1. After a very, very solid hold there at his 3rd. Again, like, even though things were looking really bad for AqueroN to begin with, things were on fire. A lot of things were on fire. Oh my god, it was the little things, right? The fact that he was able to take down the Ravens, the Liberators, you know? The fact that he was able to keep his cool, keep his macro going, fall back to his natural. He could afford to lose his 3rd. GG. Platinum Heroes will take a lead here in this best of 7 series, but it's a best of 7. It's okay. It's a best of 7. We have plenty of games ahead of us, and we are going to be hopping over to the land of Europe. Oh boy. Here we go. I'm just setting up a couple more things. Oh. Getting a couple of messages just to confirm. Gotta love Blizzard. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to relog to get over to the land of Europe. But yeah, really nice lead here. As a reminder, this is, I don't know why this is best of 3. Hold on. Apply format. Shaking my head. Can I refresh? There we go. Beautiful. Best of 7. So even though they have a bit of a lead here, again, there's still plenty of games ahead of us, and this is a best of 2 between our players. So Dolan is going to be having another chance up against AqueroN. We have confirmation on the map. It is going to be on Inside and Out. Beautiful. I just got to find my way to Europe. Oh boy. 2 Europe. Beautiful. So our TVT will continue. Again, as a reminder, after this, we're going to be seeing Vindicta versus Art. Oh boy, another scary TVP. I don't know if I'm out of line saying that I think Art is Platinum Hero's ace player. I think I would go that far. Again, Art has kind of been a bit of a rising star, especially in these online tournaments. He's been doing really well for himself. And really improving over time. He even spent some time in Korea, which was pretty insane. As I'm going to be setting up the lobby. We can leave that. Oh god. Oh, massive shout out to AqueroN. Looks like he is making the lobby. Thank God. Thank God. Those who don't know, because I'm from Australia, obviously, things on Europe load quite a bit slower. So it takes a while. To even get the list of the maps out. I just let them know that we are good to go. Oh my god, please don't break the stream. Hello, Nish, hello. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás, papi? Yo, Pocket Mike's here as well. Bienvenidos, bienvenidos. Oh. Yes, welcome. I mean, please don't break the stream. I will have you know that my internet is perfectly fine in the evenings. It's just in the middle of the day where it's a little bit choppy. I say choppy, just like where the internet just cuts out completely. That happened earlier today for ESL Cup Asia. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. But here we go. We are diving into game number 2 and spawning in the top right hand corner of Inside and Out. We have the Spanish Terran player himself. He is now green, representing Platinum Heroes. It is AqueroN. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Inside and Out, we have the yellow Terran player representing the CranKy Ducklings, currently down in this series, but not out, not yet. It is Dolan. You're in game numero dos. Oof. Again, I was honestly really impressed with his initial execution of his 2-base all-in of that double starport build. It's something that you only whip out once in a series though, I'll be honest. And even though he had a really great start to things, like, oh my god, things really did fall apart a little bit, you know. It was an unfortunate moment to Unsiege as well when he got all of his tanks caught out. Very unfortunate, as Dolan is going for a bit of a proxy Rax. I say a bit. More than one, I imagine, because we have 2 SCVs out here. Oh my god, there we go. 3 Raxes in total. AqueroN, he's actually going to be scouting out on the map here, checking the bottom right-hand location, and headed over towards the left-hand side. Oh, he will come across the proxied Raxes. He will spot this, and oh boy, we immediately have them cancel. GG gets called. An unfortunate start, but a very committed proxy does get scouted, and AqueroN will take a further lead here, 2-0. GG. Oh my god, my heart goes out to Dolan. Unfortunately, AqueroN, he was looking for proxies. He was making sure that he was safe. He checked towards the triangular third to begin with, then the linear third, and again, because those 3 Raxes, like, man, there's no way to transition from there, or it's so difficult. You are so far behind when that happens. GG. Oof. And now it is time to message Platinum Heroes. Hold on. As I'm just going to be checking a couple of things here. So, specifically for our next series, we're going to be getting into Vindicta versus Art. Again, my heart goes out to Dolan. Less than 3, puppy. Less than 3. There's a world out there where we're tied up 1-1 instead. And game 1 would have gone a little bit better. But yeah, AqueroN just a little bit too good for that in the end. And yeah, I guess we'll see here. Here, 82, so we can alternate for... Okay, cool. So it looks like we are going to alternate for Vindicta and Art as well. Beautiful. And now I have to figure out, where are we starting? Okay. As I'm just messaging our players, and hopefully we can get things underway. Oh, it looks like we're going to be starting on Europe and then heading over to US East. Oh boy. And we'll see how this ends up playing out here. It's going to be that TVP, and we were here last week, if you remember, where the ace players kind of faced off against each other. Last week we were up against Team Super, and we had Vindicta going up against Trigger. Now it's Vindicta going up against Art. Oh boy. And hopefully we don't see history repeat itself. As again, last week Trigger was a titan to try and overcome. Art, well, we'll see if the same is going to be the case here. Regardless, it's going to be a good series. Oh. As we just set some things up here, it's going to be on Data C. Oh god. Making lobbies on Europe. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting in. It's okay. Oh, beautiful. Tater. Okay, we have made our lobby and we're just getting everyone in. Meanwhile, we'll see if I end up getting a co-caster today. Kuro is on her way home, but she's not home yet. So depending on how fast our series is, maybe we'll get Kuro later on. Maybe she'll jump in. We'll see. Fingers crossed. Gib co-caster. We are setting on up, just asking if the players are ready, and we are good to go. Oof. You can hear the beats. We're diving into game number 3. Can we start the comeback? It's always a little bit awkward. Oh god, because obviously we're a little bit biased, but yes, can we start the comeback? Can we make a series out of this best of 7? We've had a bit of a rough start here with Platinum Heroes taking a 2-0 lead, but can the Ducklings bring it back? Let's find out. If anyone can do it, I believe in Miguelito. Oh boy, but here we go, spawning in the top right hand corner of Data under the sea. We have the CranKy Duckling himself, hailing from the land of the United States of America. It is Vindicta. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, bottom left hand corner of Data under the sea, we have the Polish Protoss player. He is pink. Of course he is. All the Polish Protosses are pink. Representing Platinum Heroes, it is Art. Vámonos, papi, vámonos. Hold on, I can see Yaka with the copy passes in the chat. Spam these hands to clap for Dolan. Because the copy passes, it's a work in progress. Okay, it's a work in progress. But we are getting into the swing of things here. I know Vindicta, he was taking notes of his opponents, of the Platinum Heroes players, taking this very seriously, as we are, again, so close to those grand finals. This is the semifinals of the Rak'Shir Team League. Vindicta just scouting around here with his SCV, trying to make sure that nothing crazy is going on. Doesn't want to get cheesed, not like what happened with Trigger. For those who weren't here last week, Vindicta versus Trigger on Moondance. It was so sad. Vindicta, he got proxy stargated in the pocket of Moondance, in the pocket base. Oh my god. It was brutal, Papi. It was absolutely brutal. I hope we don't see a repeat of that. We'll see if we do end up on Moondance in the next game. Oh god. But yeah, Vindicta just making sure nothing crazy is going on, going for his own SCV scout across the map. And trying his best to make sure the CC doesn't get delayed. Just a little bit of lost mining time here and there, nothing too crazy. I mean, I'm sure Art is relatively happy with that. Also, with his probe scout confirming, okay, we do have the CC on the low ground on location. Nothing kind of up in the air. Wasn't denied entry into the main or anything like that. And we'll see how this goes. Kuro just parked. Awful weather today. Shout out to Kuro in the chat. Bienvenidos, papi. Bienvenidos. As this game, we are not going to be seeing any kind of weird 3 ranks or any kind of 2-1-1 shenanigans. We are going to be seeing that factory, so more of a 1-1-1 opener from Vindicta. Love to see it. Again, I don't really think Data C is really known for a good map for something like a 3 ranks. It's kind of fallen out of fashion in current meta. As Reaper slips into the main base, it is going to go down, but not before getting a full scout and confirming this is going to be a Twilight Council opener from Art, not a Stargate. Okay, so Vindicta is at least aware of that. Meanwhile, back at home, we do see just continued marine production. We have our bunker up as well. Unfortunately, because of this opener, Vindicta isn't going to have a lot of time to defend, and he is going to be forced to bring this SCV into the bunker. A little bit of lost mining time. At least he doesn't lose anything. You know, it could be a little bit worse. Ooh. As Adept is forced back. And a pretty interesting choice here. Again, only a single Hellion. This is honestly just designed to scouts and nothing too major. We don't have a commitment into Hellions or Reapers or anything like that. He's just going to be going across the map and try and slip past this Stalker. On it looks like he won't quite be able to. Just scouting to see if there is a third base here on location at the triangular third. At least we can see that Art is looking to expand, but over here at the linear third instead. As Art does go for his Blink Stalker opener, we have a robot behind us as well to get into War Prisms, you know, to be able to be active on the map. Nothing too crazy from our Protoss player. I guess from Vindicta, the craziest thing is that he is going for a Raven opener. With this, we can be a little bit aggressive. He's also being safe because he knows about the Twilight Council. He will have detection in case there was going to be some kind of DT follow-up. Just playing this out safe. As he does end up throwing down that second Rax as well. And yeah, we'll see kind of how this all unfolds, like especially because of the third base, which quickly checking, Vindicta hasn't really seen himself, so he doesn't know how aggressive his opponent is going to be. I mean, we can see that, I mean, because of the third base, we don't really have a gateway explosion. We see a forge being thrown down instead. Art is looking to approach this in a more kind of macro-oriented fashion. Vindicta kind of has read this. He hasn't like thrown down a bunker in his main needlessly. He is prioritizing his tanks to make sure that there isn't going to be any Blink Stalker aggression in his main or in his natural. So yeah, he's still playing this out safe, but at least not over investing there in his defense. As he moves out with a Marine and finally confirms, okay, you got a third. And I'm just honestly a little bit surprised by how passive this game has been. Finally, that gateway explosion is upon us. But typically, when players open up with Twilight Council, with Blink, they're more in their face of their opponent, right? With their Stalkers, you know, poking and prodding at the natural, looking to find a way into the main base, into the natural, looking for these stray tanks. Art approached this in a very, very different manner. Much more conservative, much more defensive, much safer play from him. Really interesting and odd to see. Like, we've casted Art a couple of times in Sparkling Tuna Cup, and he doesn't typically play in this manner either. So maybe trying to adapt to his opponent, maybe expecting aggression, not seeing it, and now kind of just getting away with a faster third. Meanwhile, the Raven does end up moving out. We see a little bit of aggression here. Ooh, actually gets a sentry. Not bad at all. But at the same time, those Stalkers are looking to find a little bit of damage of their own. That CC a little bit too close to the edge. The SCV itself is a little bit exposed, but it looks like it will barely be able to survive. Oh, as another auto turret gets thrown down in the natural. Oh, something about auto turrets this series. You know, AqueroN earlier against Dolan. Now here, Vindicta against Art. 4 probes and a sentry. So far, well worth it. Of course, Vindicta knows that he doesn't need it at home for detection or anything like that against CTs. And even here, Art just overextending a little bit, just taking a couple of tank volleys to the face. We do see a double drop moving out by Vindicta, and he happens to come across the proxy gateway location. Art also spots the drop himself, so he's going to be looking to try and catch those medevacs. But at the same time, Vindicta cleans up that observer that was just outside his third base, and he's going to be able to land his own third here. I mean, again, at least Art was able to confirm this to make sure that there was no 2-base all-in. He knows that he doesn't necessarily need these Stalkers to defend against any kind of big push, and he misses the drop, so he goes for a recall. Oh, I have to wonder if Vindicta actually saw this. But thankfully, he was able to take a couple of units here towards that proxy location. He's going to be able to clean that up. Scans confirms the location of the Immortal Army, but where are those Stalkers? Again, I hope we don't see a massive boost into the main base. He has to be very careful here with this drop. Oh my god, meanwhile, an anti-armor missile on every single one of these Immortals. The main army is pushing on forward. We see a scan into the main, and Vindicta, he sees the Stalkers. He knows not to go for the drop. This third base is going to be under threat. I love how the Raven can actually fly here just because there is very little anti-air available for Art. Going to be pushing on forward, but the Widowmine shots, they go off. Oh, they do connect with those Zealots. It looks like the tanks are going to go down to these Immortals, and despite that anti-armor missile, Vindicta really wasn't able to accomplish too much here. Chipped away a little bit at the base itself, but the Immortals survived. Only Zealots and Sentries went down. I feel like it would have been a different story if this drop had actually met up with that main army and we could have pushed in together, but alas, because they were here on the left-hand side instead, it just wasn't able to happen. Hello, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Massive shout to Super Marmota in the chat for the sub, as Vindicta actually ends up catching, oh my god, the move command is real! Ends up catching these Stalkers here towards the left-hand side of the map. Art was trying to save and protect that proxy location, bearing in mind that recall is on cooldown and these Stalkers have nowhere to run. I say that, but he could end up finding some medevacs. Up. He ends up getting one for his troubles. He meets up with the rest of his army. Some of the Stalkers do end up surviving here. As Art is going to be able to back up in the end. That Immortal Can is still looking strong. We have double Colossus production coming out for our Polish Protoss as well. Robotics Bay is done. Second Robo already out. But bearing in mind, Extended Thermal Lance only just started and the Colossi is still a ways off, so there is a window here before that splash damage where Vindicta can push on forward. The Raven does go down. Oh my god, we may not have the Raven, but we have Ghost EMP connects here, and the Immortals are looking exposed. 2 Immortals immediately get focused down. There's only a single one remaining, another EMP. And Vindicta, he breaks on forward here. Art, he's relying so much on his Colossi, but they're not ready, they're not coming out. Finally they do, but mate, once again, they're looking so exposed. Vindicta, he dives on them immediately. The first one ends up falling. We have a second one. We have Disruptors coming out, but that's a little bit too ambitious here for Art. In the end, he will lose everything. An overcharge doesn't come into play. GG gets called, and Vindicta takes the first game. GG. Ay. Yeah, things kind of escalated really quickly there, where Art, he was kind of caught out with his Stalkers, and I mean, to be fair, that didn't really matter too much because he was able to save the majority of them in the end, but you could argue that Art was being a little bit greedy, delaying his splash damage, waiting for a second Robo, prioritizing that Immortal production to begin with, and sure, eventually he got his Colossus out, but it was a little bit too late. Vindicta hit the timing that he needed to. Those EMPs were insane. GG. As I'm not just heading over to the land of America, I believe I'm going to be joined. Are you hopping on? By a co-caster. Oh my. We'll see, we'll see. As we aren't just hopping over to America. It is going to be Art's map pick. For those who don't know, the way this format works is it's a best of 7, sure, and we have a couple of predetermined maps, but we also have loser's pick as well. So our first map in this series was, again, predetermined as Data Under the Sea, and we are now going into Tropical Sacrifice. Just going to be setting that up. Beautiful. You can hear the beeps, and we are diving on in. So looks like I won't be joined by Kuro yet. Not yet. Maybe for the next series. Maybe for the next series. As we are loading on in. But yes, sources. I'm solo casting for now. Hopefully not for the entire best of 7. As we are loading into Tropical Sacrifice and spawning in the top right hand corner, we have our Polish Protoss player himself representing Platinum Heroes. Overall leading the series 2-1. We'll see if he can make it even an even greater lead. We have Art. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice, we have our American Terran representing the CranKy Ducklings. He is our very own Vindicta. Fun fact, for those who don't know, it is currently 4:30 a.m. in the morning here in Australia. I had a 2-hour nap before this, and I am totally prepared for what is to come. For what is to come ahead. Again, we had a really peculiar opener last game by Art. I say peculiar, like we had a Twilight Council opener, but again, he was like surprisingly passive with it. Again, focusing a lot more on his economy. He did get a faster third up and running, sure. But yeah, because of that, Vindicta was kind of free to do whatever he wanted, at least at the start of the game. It's kind of a dynamic that you don't see too often. I'm so used to seeing more aggression coming out from from the side of the Protoss, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing a little bit more of that here at this game, especially after what we just saw. Again, we did see a little bit of a back and forth where Art was able to, you know, cash the drops at least. He was able to spot the third being landed, but he wasn't able to see the entire army move out. He was kind of caught off guard because of that. Yeah, we'll see. So far, pretty standard opener. This time, Art wasn't able to force a delay at that natural base with his probe. He wasn't able to be as annoying as he would have liked to, as Vindicta does have his own base on location here. And pretty interesting decision. Vindicta actually opens up with a Marine first, followed up by the Reaper. Hello, Mr. Probe. As the Marine is going to be scouting here towards the northern part of the map, looking for any kind of weird proxy. The SCV even going further, checking towards the northern edges of the map as well. And, you know, he's correctly assuming that there is going to be a proxy. Unfortunately, he's checking in the wrong place. Reaper is going to be checking here towards the south, and it looks like, will he come across the Stargate? It looks like he will. He finds it immediately. SCV can now return back home. This Stargate should not get up and running, not anytime soon. Art is actually going to be sending out his Adept though. Looks like he is unwilling to cancel this. He still wants to commit, as there we go. We have Twilight Council back at home. Would Mine going to be on the way here for Vindicta. There is the cancel of the Stargate. Art doesn't want to waste any resources here, and thankfully it wasn't like an ultra committed proxy either. Like, you know, it wasn't any kind of weird all-in shenanigans or anything like that based off of one base. Art, he can just cancel and transition. Vindicta is going to be rescouting with this Reaper, and yeah, is going to confirm that we did have the cancel. And we'll see where we go from here. We do have one Widow Mine already. Only one though, so I was kind of thinking, oh, we're gonna see him try and make use of the mine response and go for a drop. No, not at all. We're still gonna be seeing the tech lab on the starport. I imagine gonna be going into Ray. Oh no, not Ravens. Gonna be going for a Banshee instead. Oh my god. And not even your typical one Banshee. He's committing and researching Cloak as well. So yeah, pretty interesting turn of events here from Vindicta. I guess this kind of makes sense because the tech is delayed for Art, because he obviously had to switch gears and change things up from Stargate into Twilight Council. I'm sure Vindicta is hoping that Art is going to be cutting corners and maybe even delaying the Robo on top of that. So there's a lot of potential here for him to find some damage. Meanwhile, oh, he's going to try and bait that Adept in. It looks like he will. Nice movement there. Nice repositioning by that first Widow Mine. Second Banshee is on the way. Because we have the Robo, we are going to have access to detection, and I'm sure Art is going to get an Observer out on the map, but the question is, where is the Observer going to be? Where are the Stalkers going to be by the time those Banshees hit? I'm loving the memes in the chat. Let's go Plat Heroes. By the way, Plat Heroes is Platinum Heroes. I can call them that because I'm friends with him. I'm tight like that. We see a scan here at the third Vindicta confirming that we do have a third base. Again, he lost his Reaper earlier, so he couldn't really rely on that, and he didn't make a Hellion, so yeah, forced to burn a scan there. Second Banshee moving on out. Art does have an Adept here, and the Adept does look like it has enough vision to see whether or not a Banshee slips on by it, unless it does cloak prematurely. So we'll see if Art can spot this, and we'll see if he can respond in time to prepare for those Banshees. Behind this, Vindicta threw down 2 more Raxes, so we have a 3-Rax follow-up here, delaying that third CC for quite a bit. Oh my god, and with very keen eyes, Vindicta, he scans and he just shuts down that Observer. My god. At the same time, here we go, the Banshees are diving on in. Has Art seen this? It doesn't look like he has. The Stalkers are still here at the natural base, and with 2 Banshees, we can one-shot workers. Force a recall here on the Observer. 6 probes are already going to be going down here. Looks like the Banshees barely get out of range of that Observer. One of them will go down, and there is no shield battery at the natural, so more damage can still be done. Oh, Vindicta taking a little bit there to respond. He does go all the way towards the third, and again here at the third, there's still a lot of probes here to go down. One more in the end. 8 probes for 1 Banshee. Not bad, not bad. On top of that, Vindicta has kind of pulled apart the army a little bit. The Stalkers are now here towards the third base location. Vindicta is fully aware of that, and that main army is coming on in. Art did have a Spotter Stalker, so he's fully aware of this. And we'll see if he can end up defending here. The Stalkers actually they kind of end up rerouting around the army. They get 2 tanks, and with the death of those 2 tanks, I don't know if Vindicta can really commit to this. Oh god. Outmaneuvering, that was the word that I was looking for. Yeah, the firepower is now gone. Vindicta wisely unsieging, gonna be backing off here, but can he escape as he loses half of his Marines already? A great response by Art. And unfortunate movement by Vindicta there. Forced tanks to be exposed like that. I mean, again, Art, because of his Spotter Stalker, he was fully aware of like the positioning of the army, and even here attempts to try and catch these medevacs. Oh god. And yeah, with that brutal loss, Vindicta, he's forced to back on up. Unfortunately, his third CC was delayed from earlier. It is going to be now landed on location. But it's Art's opportunity to counterattack. He knows that the tank count for Vindicta is incredibly low. And just like that, he dives on the third tank, gets it immediately. There's only 2 tanks remaining here. 1 tank remaining. And even though Art may not break Vindicta here and now, it doesn't matter. He killed 3 tanks. Correction, he killed 4 tanks. He can afford to lose Immortals for that. And again, with the 10 count being reset, it just means that Vindicta, he's forced to stay at home even longer. Art knows he's free to expand. He's taking on up. Storm is on the way. We're not going to be relying on Colossus, not this time. Thankfully, Vindicta hasn't stopped taking up either, so even though we are going to have High Templar and Storm on the side of Art, we are going to be seeing some Ghost with those EMPs as well on the side of Vindicta. Oh my god, this turret a little bit too late here. Does end up spawning the Warp Prism regardless, as the Zealot does end up getting dropped. Oh, did Vindicta see it though? As the Prism is headed in towards that third base location. Art has to be careful not to get caught out though, as he's forced to commit here to go into the main. If he went back home, then he would have been caught out by the drop. Let's just get baby links to co-cast. It's 4:30 a.m. puppy. It's not happening. Oh god, and it looks like the recall is just in time. Oh my god. 5 HP. 5 HP. It barely manages to escape. Did we see like a stray lib shot come out from across the map? Oh my god. But Art keeps it alive. It's going to be a little bit risky to use it to kind of ferry around these High Templar just because of how low it is. But, you know, it's still going to be there for reinforcements at least. We see a scan. Vindicta confirms the 4th base. Going to be moving out again. Only 3 tanks here with the army. Does have a couple of Liberators as well, to be fair. And we see a massive storm on the bio, just like that. More medevacs are going to be going down. Vindicta, no, not the tanks, not again. Oh, he's going to try and keep them alive. We'll see another blink on forward. Thankfully, this time 2 tanks will survive. And across the map, those libs, mate, they're putting in a lot of work. 10 workers already going down. We see another re-siege here towards the natural base. Gets a Stalker and another handful of probes. And finally, something is going Vindicta's way here. He needed a little bit of breathing room. He needed Art to back on up. Like, Art has been so in his face, just so attentive when it comes to catching these stray units, whether they be tanks, whether they be medevacs. Finally, Vindicta can breathe. Art still has a pretty strong economy though, again, because of this faster 4th Nexus. But Vindicta is at least keeping up. Here we go. I'm just so, I was gonna say shocked, but I'll go as far as to say impressed here by the vision of Art. Like, he just has so much out on the map, whether they're spotter zealots or spotter pylons, observers, proxies. I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't have liked to lose this proxy location, but regardless, like, because of this, these drops from Vindicta, they just can't move out. They just can't find a way across the map. As soon as Art cleans up that gateway, he backs on up. He needs to get the hell out of there. Art getting his own 5th base here as Vindicta expands and takes his 4th. And Art, he's just doing what Protoss does best. You know, we started with the Storm, now we have Colossi. Next up, we have Disruptors. He's getting every form of splash damage. Oh boy. But as he's getting every form of splash damage, Vindicta as well is also getting as much as he can to deal with it, as Liberators are coming out and we have that Fusion Core for Lib range. We already have a 2nd starport as well. What's a little bit scary is that he doesn't really have that lib count yet. He actually has 0 Liberators on the map, so there is going to be a window here where Art can still make full use of his Colossi and Disruptors. Obviously, once we do have enough Liberators out, like, the dynamic changes quite a bit, and it's a little bit more difficult for Protoss players to really break locations and make use of their army. But until then, he still has a window. Meanwhile, I also appreciate that Art is already looking ahead. Stargate is on the way, so once Liberators do come into play, he is going to get ready to transition. We have a bit of an EMP there. Ghost goes down, but we do see a snipe on that Prism. Not just the Prism, but also both High Templar inside it. And honestly, I was really worried about that War Prism. Like, it was only on 5 HP from earlier. It was really bold, really ballsy of Art to make use of it the way that he did, and he was punished for it. Meanwhile, we'll see a bit of a drop here towards the 5th base location. At least Vindicta does get eyes on this. The Zealot run by was cleaned up earlier here at the 3rd. And Vindicta is going to be able to sneak here into the main base. At least we do have a couple of waves of warp-ins available for Art, so he shouldn't be able to lose. He shouldn't be losing too much. We have overcharge if we need it. Not a bad purification Nova goes off here on the main army. Another Nova goes off, not quite connecting. As we see a 3rd drop across the map, does get stormed. Not before getting 8 probes and the High Templar. Liberators are now out. I believe Lib range is done. The Novas go up. Gonna tank for their troubles. Vindicta forced to rotate back around. Doesn't want to let his Liberators be. Oh my god, exposed. I was going to be like, is he really going to go harass? No, he's being boxed in. Completely zoned away from his army. Has to go up from the low ground. This is not where we want to be. Meanwhile, the Vikings are pushing on forward. The Novas are going off as well. Liberators are being sieged up, but they immediately get taken down. Meanwhile, a little bit of friendly fire there. On those Immortals, but Art just has far too many disruptors for Vindicta to really make chase. A little bit of a missed rally, so Vindicta does trade with the army. He got all the Colossi, he got a handful of disruptors, he got the Immortals, but he did lose all of his tanks and Liberators. So both armies do sustain heavy losses because Art was able to confirm the commitment into Liberators. There we go. We have a 2nd, 3rd Stargate on the way, and carrier production has commenced. We're not going to be rebuilding those Colossi. We're not going to be rebuilding those Disruptors or High Templar. It's all about Skytoss and Immortals. And the scary thing is that Vindicta hasn't seen this transition yet. He wasn't able to confirm this earlier with his drop. He didn't see the first Stargate. He hasn't seen the Fleet Beacon. For all he knows, it is still going to be ground toss. And to be fair, his army is still going to be okay against a low amount of carriers, but only a low amount. As there we go. We see a scan into the main base. He does see triple carriers on the way. He knows, puppy. He knows. And Vindicta does confirm the army with his sensor tower. Art spots it as well with the Zealot. God, he has to be so careful here. He doesn't want to commit to a major engagement before carriers come out. As EMPs do connect with those Stalkers at the same time. We do have another drop here at that 3rd base location and the new 6th. We have a bit of a scam. Carriers looking a little bit exposed, not gonna lie. Disruptors doing the best they can to zone away that main army. Drop goes from the 3rd into the natural. Not too much damage being done. Force cancel at the 6th. 7 probes going down. Alright, he can afford to lose some workers. It's okay. It's okay. But Art is kind of giving up his location here, being distracted by this small drop. We have, oh my god, not just a drop at the 6th base, but also in the main. The main army is going to be able to break through this 3rd base location. Art's making a little bit indecisive here. Making a bit of a wrong decision, being pulled apart by just a handful of units. And somehow, some way, Vindicta was able to take down 3 bases. And not just 3 bases, but also 17 probes. Meanwhile, we do see a scan on the main army. Vindicta fully aware of where it is. Has to be careful not to lose his ghost prematurely. But there we go. More lives and ghosts on the way. Oh god. Ugh. Oh my god, Blanket EMP on the main army. Disruptors get some decent connections. But I don't know if there's really enough Protoss here. God, the EMPs are real. The dodges are real as well, somehow, some way. Every single Nova got like maybe 1, 2, 3 units. Nothing too major, but it still doesn't look like there's enough anti-air here for Vindicta to really engage these carriers. Oh. I feel like Art is playing with fire. I don't know, man. It feels like there just isn't that much here to support the carriers, but at least he kept his disruptors alive. They are regenerating or recharging their shots. Trying to find another way in. +3 air attack on the way. Let's go. And I appreciate this from Vindicta. We have seen that really what he's been excelling at is just pulling apart his opponent, going for all these drops, whether they're in the main, the natural, the third, moving in with his main army. Going for a triple drop is a risky thing to do, don't get me wrong. Oh my god, Art spots. Did he spot it? He does. He does spot this. He does have a High Templar with some storms available at that northern base. Again, he's just trying to find a way in, trying to break the defenses of one of these bases, but he just can't do it. Meanwhile, that triple drop, it looks like it wasn't quite spotted. We do have a bit of a storm. We do have an overcharge as well, and yeah, Vindicta's not going to find too much here. Once again, it feels like the entire army is responding to this. Vindicta's trying to find another base to attack. Now both armies are maxed. Does feel like Art is still kind of between his bases though because of the drop. Oh my god. So many disruptors. 8 in total. 8, puppy. Oh god! Oh, ends up getting 1 ghost. I thought it was 2 for a moment, but it was 1. Do you see a scan there? Vindicta tanking out that observer. Finally, the drop earlier has been dealt with. God, this moment is so tense. You love to see it. We have 2 more Ghost Academies on the way. Why? Nukes, papi. Nukes. Let's go. Whether they be for zoning or for trying to take down some of these bases, we shall see. Meanwhile, this observer doing so well, working so well for Art. He knows exactly where the army is. Ugh. Novas do end up going off, getting some half-decent connections. Liberators do siege up in time, and they're going to be able to eviscerate that ground army. But is it going to be enough? We shall see. EMPs were good as well. The interceptors are running out, and Vindicta is chasing this down. With the help of the overcharge, it looks like Art is going to be able to hold on a little bit longer here, but even with the overcharge, there's just still so much damage available, damage potential for Vindicta. God, how do these disruptors keep surviving? It feels like Vindicta still has that momentum going. The interceptor count was completely reset. But I don't know if Vindicta's fully aware of that. Again, knowing that the disruptors reset their charges means that, yeah, it's so risky to try and dive on this army. The carriers, they survive. But you know, that's okay, because the game goes on, we're going to be seeing those nukes. As 2 nukes are on the way. Going to be some DT harass here at the fresh base of Vindicta. I say fresh base, he's double expanding here towards the south. A little bit of Liberator harass going on at the same time, drawing away the attention of those carriers. And again, I'm sure Vindicta is itching for a fight. I just realized we only have 1 ghost. That's a little bit terrifying. I don't know if we really want to fight without EMPs. I feel like they've really been making these engagements for Vindicta. I'm sure he's fully aware of that. We do have 3 more ghosts on the way. And there is that nuke. Does Art see? Art? Oh, God. The nuke, puppy, the nuke. Okay, he does see at the last moment. A nuke going to be depowering those shield batteries. Thankfully, Art was able to pull away just in time. A couple of SCVs are moving out to just confirm the army location. Or a misrally. As Vindicta is pushing on forward here, well aware of the location of the army. EMPs do connect on every single carrier. And I don't know if the disruptors are really going to be enough to stop Vindicta. Yeah, he knows he has to recall the hell out of here. He's going to lose a couple of units in the process. Disruptors are going to be going down. If recalls over towards the north instead. Liberators, they have to re-siege. They do. The base will go down. And I don't think there's enough on the ground to really contest against this Bio. There's 3 disruptors, but only 3. Every single interceptor is falling. And Vindicta is breaking on through. We started off the series down 2-0. But Vindicta, Los Patitos, we tie it up. GG gets called. And Vindicta takes game number 4. We are tied up 2-2. Oh, GG. GG, well played. After a bit of a nail-biting game, not gonna lie, I was really concerned, especially when it came to the initial transition into Skytoss. But Vindicta, he was so on point with his counterattacks, with his drops. With his counterattacks, with his drops, pulling apart that army. His EMPs were beautiful every time. Not just that, I should also commend his map awareness. Like, his scans were just constantly just giving him information about the army location, the army movement, so he was always well aware of how to siege, how to position his liberators. GG. Oh. And with that, we are now going to be moving on to our next series. So our next series, it's going to be something a little bit special. Not just our next series, but I'm also going to be joined by my co-caster.
Hello there. I have survived. I did not drown on the way, which was hard, because it decided to pour cats and dogs and frogs and anything else you can imagine.
And ducks?
I have not seen ducks, no. But yeah, ducks would be useful. Like, I could ride on one.
Beautiful.
But no, in all seriousness, like, it started, like, raining, like, really hard. Like, driving was almost impossible.
Oh,
but I am here.
Yeah.
I survived.
Yeah, welcome. Glad to see you here. Glad to see you here, Kuro. As, as we are going to be getting ready for our final matchup of the night. As we can all see here, we have had a bit of a back and forth best of 7 so far. Dolan had a bit of a rough time in that TVT against AqueroN, but Vindicta makes up for it here in the TVP against Art. And now it all comes down to StarDuck versus HateMe.
No pressure, StarDuck.
No pressure.
See, StarDuck, we're gonna see if all this KS2 has paid off, huh?
Oh boy. Oh god, it comes down to the duck of the stars. It is going to be Australia versus Europe. Oh boy. And that means that we are going to be alternating between US Central and US West.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. I do wonder what StarDuck brings to the table today. And I mean, I do wonder what HateMe brings as well. As you said, it's been a back and forth series so far, and we will see where they can take it.
Oh yeah, we shall see. We can all see that the first map is going to be on Waterfall. Oh boy. The smallest map in the map pool. Not the shortest rush distance, to be fair, but still the smallest map nonetheless. And I don't know if you remember this, but HateMe, I believe the last time we saw him, he was hyper aggressive, to say the least.
Ooh. But to be fair, I mean, StarDuck can be too. Do you think StarDuck would come back to like cannon rushing and stuff? Because that's something he used to do a while ago. But then like he learned to be more proper, more macro focused. But do you think he would go back to something cheeky?
We'll see. We'll see kind of how he ends up playing this out. I wonder. I know he doesn't have too much practice on these maps, but he's a very smart player. He does a lot of theory crafting, you know, and I have to commend him on that at least. So yeah, I wonder where this is all gonna take us here. As I do invite the players.
Yes, the lobby is being set up. Hold on.
Oh.
Hold on. Interesting map, Mr. Live VIP.
Fun fact, I typed in water and that was the first thing that came up that replaced waterfall.
Yeah, for those wondering, it was Submarine LE with rising water. That's a new one.
Shaking my head.
You almost pulled it in. Almost. Do you remember that? That was so long ago.
No.
This was when on Crank stream, when there was the one time when Dean was allowed to set up a lobby, and instead of pulling them up from ladder, he like it was not LE, but it was like LT or something, and every unit was like this big Zealot statue with laser eyes. Every unit. I was like, what? That was the last time Dean made a lobby.
Oh god. But yes, we are getting ready for our next game in this series. Again, it's really cool to see a bunch of Platinum Heroes players as well in the chat, also cheering for their boys, also cheering. Oh boy. And I'm sure a lot of people that are watching right now aren't too familiar with StarDuck. Well, you're about to be. You're about to be.
Oh boy. Yes, StarDuck, obviously the token Protoss of CranKy Ducklings. There always has to be one Protoss in CranKy Ducklings, but only one.
Only one. Only one. And he's been with us for a long time. He's been with us for a long time. We've had ups, we've had downs. And we'll see if this is going to be an up or a down here. As we are loading on in, you can hear the beeps. Ooh, as we get into a bit of a PVZ, StarDuck versus HateMe.
Yeah, my one hope is that StarDuck doesn't like fall to something silly, to like a hole in the wall or something like that, because that would be really sad. And I know that he's better than that. But we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, the other interesting thing is that we only have weird maps left. Like, it's Waterfall, Moondance, and Stargazers. Those are the only maps remaining here.
Yeah.
So. Oh boy.
So not much choice there, but anyway. We are now spawned in the top right corner of Waterfall, looking at the base of the blue Zerg, representing Platinum Heroes. It is HateMe.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Waterfall, we have the Duck of the Stars himself, hailing from the land of Australia, the red Protoss player representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is StarDuck.
And we already have this first probe going to the other side of the map. I think that's pretty early.
Yeah, I mean, he's moving out across the map, going to be forcing the unnatural natural. Ideally, there we go. Gets here just in time. So HateMe going to be a little bit inconvenienced by this, just a little bit.
I mean, it's always like a little advantage, right? Like a bit of an inconvenience for the Zerg. And StarDuck does check if the front third was taken or the one on the top side, and now he has all the information he needs.
Yeah. Again, this is something that's just become really standard in this matchup. StarDuck knowing to send the probe out a little bit earlier just because it is Waterfall and you can expand maybe a little bit earlier as well, just to make sure everything's happening, everything is on point. Even goes into the main confirming, okay, it is going to be a hatch gas pool opener as well.
Yes, so all the information needed is there. And in the meantime, he's able to take his own base because HateMe is not being particularly aggressive, so this wall can be left open for a little longer.
Yeah,
we'll see. Yeah.
Not gonna lie, when I saw HateMe make the first drone, I breathed a sigh of relief. I was like, oh, thank God. I was like, thank God he's not going for a 12 pool.
Right? Yeah, 12 pools have been fairly popular nowadays, versus Protest especially.
I think we've been spoiled by Eric a little bit.
I mean, Eric is more of a proxy hatch kind of guy, although he does go 12 pool as well.
Yeah, 12 pool proxy hatch. But yeah. Unfortunately, no Eric here today. But StarDuck has stepped in his shoes, and yeah, I mean, so I do know that StarDuck has been playing around a lot with that hero style. You know, Blink Stalkers, Triple Oracle Opener. He has been playing a lot with that. But Waterfall, again, like because we're down to some of the more quirky maps, I don't know if that really lends to that. Just because of how small this map is, it does mean that you can have a little momentum, sure, but it also means that like things like counterattacks can be that much more prominent, and it can be a little bit harder to get that momentum, or easier to lose it, I should say.
Definitely, but we do have a Stargate coming up from StarDuck, and we do have an Adept on the other side of the map, now trying to see what the Zerg is up to.
Yeah, just scouting to confirm, okay, it's not a 2-base all-in. We have a third hatchery. I'm sure he's probably going to be looking to try and get in to see if there were any additional gases or any lair. It's one of those things where these two players, I'm sure, aren't too familiar with each other. You know, StarDuck mainly laddering on Korea or NA and HateMe on EU. Because these players are from completely different regions on opposite sides of the world, like, I'm sure, again, they're just testing each other out.
I would say they are from different time zones, but I don't think that applies to StarDuck.
That's true. StarDuck is a bit of a degen, so that checks out. That checks out as he goes for a faster third base. I mean, again, due to the Oracle openers, you can get away with this. First Oracle is coming out. Second Oracle should be not too far behind this. There we go. And with this, you can be aggressive and also defend against any kind of Ling aggression.
Indeed. And meanwhile, at the same time, HateMe going for +1 melee, actually.
Yeah, the Evo Chamber is hidden behind the mineral line, so +1 melee is going to be on the horizon. This is a great response to Blink Stalkers, to Triple Oracle, because, again, Stalkers can have a really hard time against Lings, but we'll see if this is going to be, like, ideally a response to that, or if he intends to be more aggressive with that.
Yeah, we will find out. The Oracle did not get a lot of damage, but it is still alive, so it will be able to get some more now. And now the second one is joining as well.
Yeah, so now we have that one-shot potential. The Queens are already in location, though. No spores, but no spores are needed due to the Queens. 2 drones are going to be going down, and oh god, that first Oracle barely survived. Oh god! Up! Up!
Ah, he gets it. Yeah, unfortunately only one Oracle left and it's already damaged as well, but it will be saved for later. Definitely, like, if not for damage, like, it is always a little bit of vision, right? But at the same time, StarDuck is transitioning into Blink.
Yeah, and this is a little bit worrisome because honestly, honestly, Oracles are a major part of this composition. When I talk about how Stalkers are really vulnerable to Lings, especially +1 Lings, really, like, their supporting unit are usually Oracles, right? Pulsar beams do so well, stasis traps as well, so losing your first Oracle is a little bit scary.
It is. On that note, HateMe also going for a Roach Warren, so the Zerglings will actually have Roach support as well. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. StarDuck is already moving his sockets to the other side of the map. There is a reinforcement point being set up, but the army is not quite ready yet.
Yeah, 7 gates in total. The gateway explosion is here. This army is going to be scouted and confirmed by HateMe, and +1 melee is now done. We have a mass amount of Lings to respond, and again, only a single Oracle to help deal with it. The Lings have been spotted, by the way. If StarDuck did click on them, he will see the upgrade, and already Lings are going to try and get us around.
Yeah, he's trying to hack this wall on the bridge, but so many Stalkers are getting damage, and a lot of them will fall. There are so many Queens here as well.
Yeah, the Queens with the Lings are able to just completely shut this down. At the same time, we have a little bit of a Ling run by. Nice target fire on these workers as well. 3 probes end up falling, and this aggression is being shut down. The gateway will finish, but to what end? Because the Lings are already on top of everything.
Yeah, the Lings are surrounding the Stalkers really well, and there's just not enough for them to defend. Now the Oracle is joining them here, but there's just more Lings coming.
Yeah, again, we just needed that second Oracle. Again, a second Oracle with more energy would have been so beneficial here to make sure to avoid those surrounds from happening. Meanwhile, StarDuck, he's trying to actually hold on to this gateway, but really just means his army's that much more out of position. He will be able to blink back towards that shield battery, back towards the overcharge, and he will be able to defend here at his third.
I mean, the shield battery is nice, but it was already used up because of that link run by earlier, so now it's basically just overcharged shield battery, and that only lasts so long, so this position is actually fairly vulnerable.
Yeah, it is. Meanwhile, HateMe, he has that worker lead. He has his 4th base up and running. StarDuck wanted to be aggressive and maybe even take down a base or at least trade with the Queens, but I mean, again, we saw what happened to that, so he's forced to back off, lick his wounds, and now work towards his upgrades with double forage.
By the way, I like how both of HateMe's bases on the edges are layers, because layer do have more HP. Oh, actually only one. Never mind. But it is the front one. It's the one that, like, as it was attacked, like, this was the one that was morphing into a layer. So it's actually kind of useful.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely useful when it comes to holding onto that base. Speaking of holding onto bases, StarDuck won't be able to hold onto his fourth. The Lings are already here. They completely shut it down. At least it was a cancel and not a kill, and it looks like these Lings are going to be able to are going to be shut down as a result. But HateMe, for the most part, has full control of his side of the map. Like, there is no way for StarDuck to really be aggressive. If he does move out, again, there are just going to be so many Lings and Roaches to deal with him. And what's scary is that +2 melee is on the way. And +2 melee is really the upgrade that you're looking for to really make use of these Lings.
Yeah, and they once again are running into this third base. The shield party is being overcharged, but so many probes will fall regardless.
Yeah, exactly. There just wasn't enough here to defend. 6 more probes go down. Probes that StarDuck cannot afford to lose at the same time. Ling's going to be hitting the 4th base. This time StarDuck is in position, so we're not going to be seeing a cancel. StarDuck will hold on to his 4th. So you could argue maybe worth it for him to lose 6 probes but gain a base. And now he's finally setting up defensively.
Yeah, that is. The good part is that he actually now has enough stalkers that they're not getting so easily surrounded just by being together. But even then, like, eventually, all those upgraded Lings will chew through them.
Yeah, like, unfortunately, StarDuck, because of his opener, because it was, I don't want to say all in, but it was pretty committed, he is further behind in upgrades than he would like to be. 1-1 is about to finish up. To be fair, he had to go double forge to catch up. But yeah, now that we have +2, like, he's still going to be behind an upgrade in the end. An interesting choice, though. He's actually working towards Storm.
Yes, indeed. Meanwhile, on the side of HateMe, we do have Banelings coming up soon, so that's another thing that StarDuck will have to be careful about. The Storms will definitely help with those. Oh, these targets may get caught.
Yeah, and what's scary is that HateMe is now maxed out 200 supply. He has a Ling run by Ling, Bane run by setup on the left-hand side. Stasis Trap goes off only on a handful of Lings here on the right. We need Storm now, and Storm is still on the way.
Yes, it is. Oh, Banelings are waddling into the mineral line. The probes are getting split, but there are so many Banes anyway.
Yeah, the Banelings find their connections. Every single worker is going to go down in that mineral line. Meanwhile, we have so many High Templar here, but again, he needs more time. In 10 seconds, Storm finishes.
Storm finish. I mean, the army here is mostly Roaches. Will Storm really help much with those?
And not at all. Roaches can definitely tank up those storms. Meanwhile, every single worker did go down at this 3rd base location. We do see the base itself did survive at least, but for how much longer? Because we have more Lings on the way, more Banelings on the way as well.
Yeah, HateMe is pulling StarDuck apart, attacking from both directions at the same time. Oh, some nice storms there, but I don't think it's enough to keep the army on hold.
Yeah, StarDuck is basically forced to just try and turtle and defend here on his 4 bases, and he's really struggling to do so. Sure, he has some relatively good SimCity on the right-hand side, but on the left, it's so vulnerable, so exposed. The Banelings, once again, they're just going to roll on in.
Yeah, I mean, there's not even many probes on this base, but most of them looks like will fall, or at least the Zealots.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the Roaches intercept here in the middle as well. We have a massive Ling run by that slips into the main base. And you were saying it earlier, StarDuck just gets pulled apart. GG gets called, and HateMe takes the first game in this best of 2. And a lead for Platinum Heroes.
Yeah, Platinum Heroes are now 1 point away from winning this series, I believe. And it now depends on StarDuck. If he can win the next game, we are going to the ace match. But if he loses, this will be it for CranKy Ducklings in the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. It is a best of 7 at the end of the day, and it is the first team to 4 wins, so Platinum Heroes only need 1 more. Meanwhile, StarDuck likewise has to win this game to bring us all the way to the ace match. Can he pull it off? Well, it kind of depends, because it is going to be his map choice.
Oh boy. What is he gonna choose between Moondance and Stargazers?
Oh boy.
I guess we'll find out soon enough.
We will find out.
Yeah, what do you think he should do? Do you think he should still go for like a solid macro game, or do you think he should do something cheesy?
Well, I mean, what he did last game was relatively cheesy. Like, he was going for that timing. There's a reason why he delayed his forge. Usually, when you go for the hero style, you get a faster forge with your Twilight Council. So he was trying to hit a timing. Unfortunately, like, again, HateMe was fully prepared for it. So yeah, I don't know. Like, these maps are so weird. Like, there's a gold base, there's pocket bases. I would be okay with him for going for more of a standard game. I just don't know how confident he is in that.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but I guess we'll find out as we will soon load into our next map. And yeah, I'm just really worried because I guess the good part is I think I want to say both Moondance and Stargazers are less open to the run-bys, I want to say. Because I think Moondance is the one with the pocket base, right?
They both have them. Yep.
Yeah. So like you have like these more protected bases if you need them. So technically they're like less likely for like the run-bys are less of an issue until like later in the game. But we'll see how this situation develops as we are loading into Stargazers.
Oh boy, here we go. You can hear the beeps. We are loading on in. Oh boy.
No pressure.
Yeah. We'll see how this goes here. We'll see what StarDuck has in store for his opponent. Again, he's a really smart player. He has a lot of builds up his sleeve. So yeah. We'll see.
Shoutouts to Vindicta in the chat. As we are now loaded into Stargazers. And we are looking at the blue player representing the CranKy Ducklings and the land of Australia. Can he do it? Can he bring us to the ace match? It is the Duck of the Stars, StarDuck.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Stargazers, we have the red Zerg player himself, representing Platinum Heroes. It is HateMe.
Okay, no 12 pulls. So we're good on that front.
Yeah, no 12 pulls at all. HateMe even scouts to check to see if there's like any kind of weird cannon rush being set up or anything like that, or any kind of weird proxy in his face, I should say. So yeah, HateMe just playing this as safe as possible. StarDuck likewise going to be setting up his wall here on the low ground. So nothing too crazy here at the start of the game. This time HateMe gets his base he gets his natural.
Yeah, that he does. Now, do you think either of the players will mine those minerals like around the watchtower? Like the back entrance?
No.
No, okay.
It would be really cool if they did. It'd be really cool. But I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever seen anyone mine these out, actually.
Oh, I did. People do that. It's not very common, unfortunately, but it does happen.
Yeah, I've yet to be I've yet to be able to cast a game where they did mine these out. I think it was the first week of ESL Open Cups that we casted where I think Top tried to mine them out. No, it was Björn with mules, but like there was a bug and the mules actually couldn't mine these properly. So like,
I've seen the chat.
Yeah, it feels bad, man. It feels bad.
I mean, at the very least, it looks like StarDuck is setting up to take this pocket base on his side of the map, as he already has one probe mining out that slowly. Oh no, mind, he set it back. He just picked a bit of minerals and went back. Okay.
Yeah, he thinks better of it. For now. And yeah, HateMe, he wants nothing to do with this base. He's just going to take his third here towards the south, the linear third location. Going to be on the way. So yeah, pretty standard opener so far. Just hatch gas pool from HateMe into third base and Stargate opener from StarDuck.
Yeah, do you think we're seeing the same build as last time from StarDuck?
I doubt we're going to be seeing the same build. We should still... I would be surprised if he doesn't go for Blink Stalkers, but again, I'm sure he's going to go for a different variation.
Yeah, I mean, Stargazers has pretty nice distance for air units, but these links are scouting everything together with the third base, most likely. Yep, they are seeing that the minerals are now mined out, and they know that StarDuck is probably planning to take this base.
Oh yeah, exactly. So he's fully aware of the third base that's going to be on the way. StarDuck can afford to be greedy here on Stargazers, and that's the upside of Stargazers is Protoss can be that much more greedy when they want to be. So this is a bit of an advantage here for StarDuck. But as you were saying, HateMe at least gets a full scout off and confirms the opener.
I'm not gonna lie, I really want StarDuck to finish that wall Just put something in there, please. After all the run bys I've seen last game, just fix that wall, please.
Again, the wall was delayed because of the faster nexus, so you know the wall eventually will get up and running. First Oracle is here across the map. We had a second Oracle on the way for StarDuck, but he actually cancels it to go into a faster Twilight Council.
I guess might as well. I mean, last time like the defense of HateMe was pretty solid, so I guess this time he's just checking what he can do with this Oracle, maybe get a bit of scouting, but he's not gonna commit to them.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, StarDuck, he gets one drone, gets a little bit of lava as well, so not a bad start to things. Also, I said cancel for a faster Twilight Council. At the time, I think he was supply blocked, and there we go. So this makes a little bit more sense. Twilight Council, much faster forge. This should be +1. This should be Blink Stalkers.
And there it is. Blink is now being researched, and StarDuck will be preparing for his attack. There are no proxy locations on the map this time, except for the one in the south. Oh, never mind, it's an Oracle. Not mind me. I thought he was setting up there, but no, there are no reinforcements points this time. But now there are links coming, and these Stalkers are so in the front.
Oh, it's okay because we have the Oracle to support. Activate this Pulsar Beam to try and keep these Stalkers alive. It looks like one Stalker will go down, but only one, not two. So StarDuck will be able to defend in time. Meanwhile, just like last time in the previous game, HateMe is going for +1 melee. Again, this is just a really good response to this Blink Stalker style. Lings are the bread and butter to your army composition. Roaches is just kind of the sugar on top, really. So yeah, HateMe, he's just doing more of the same of the previous game. StarDuck just getting to those Blink Stalkers in a bit more of a macro-oriented fashion.
Yeah, and once again, HateMe getting that lair in the natural, not in the main base, so to get it, to give it a bit more HP. And he's already taking his 4 base in the bottom.
Fourth is on the way. He's already fully saturated on those 3 bases. Roach Warren finishes up. I'm sure we're going to be seeing those Roach upgrades soon. There we go. Roach Speed is on the way. What I'm curious about is whether or not StarDuck is going to commence Oracle production again. Like, we all saw how well those Stalkers were doing in the last game. Is he going to even bother? Bearing in mind that StarDuck does have a pretty big ping disadvantage right now. He's playing on US Central, so he's playing with, 200, 250 ping. So it's not really ideal. So maybe he wants to avoid that to avoid complicating his army and having too many spellcasters.
I mean, that is fair, but he has to be careful with the Stalkers because the Lings are about to surround them.
Yeah, the Lings, they come on in. Thankfully, the Stalkers were close enough to that 3rd base location where they reduce surface area. Not a single Stalker goes down. And again, the defense here so far is much more solid from StarDuck as he gets his 4th base up.
Yeah, and as you said, HateMe does go for a similar plan as last time. We do see the Banelingness coming up. We have the Lynx, we have the +1, we have Roaches on the way. We have a lot of Queens and they may snipe this Oracle this time.
Ooh. Yeah, the Oracle does end up going down here. Not before a Revelation goes down, at least, and he will be able to see the eggs or what comes out of these eggs, those being Roaches. I appreciate that, there we go, an Oracle is being remade, but it's only being remade. Again, it looks like StarDuck just doesn't really want to be too active on the map. He's more concerned with defending and just establishing himself.
I mean, after all the roundbys from last game, I can see why. But hold that thought. Look, HateMe was making 3 Dropper Lords. Where are they?
He was making 3 Dropper Lords. There they are, headed towards that pocket location. It looks like StarDuck, though, at the same time is going to be taking control of the Watchtower and moving out with his Oracle, and he will actually come across these Dropper Lords.
Yeah, he's flying straight into them, so the HateMe's plan is being revealed. To be honest, I'm not sure it was even intentional, because there are no units to be loaded into those yet. But yeah, I guess at least StarDuck will be aware of it.
Yeah, he's aware of the potential of that drop. There we go. We have a couple of Stalkers in position already. Ling's going to be able to take control of this Watchtower to make sure that StarDuck doesn't have eyes on the Dropper Lords as they do not load up.
Yeah, I feel like, HateMe like realized that he has been scouted and he's like, you know what? Just scare him. Just send it out. It's fine.
Good. Yeah, we'll see as our Storm is on the way. I mean, I like there's like pros and cons to what we're seeing right now, right? Like HateMe, sure, he hasn't been able to deal like any economic damage, but because StarDuck has been so passive and so defensive, HateMe has taken control of the map. You know, he's got his 5th base on the way, his creep spread has gotten to the halfway point as well. You could argue that maybe HateMe could have been more greedy, but he's where he wants to be. You know, he's got 87 workers, he's taking up even further, going for more Evo chambers, +1 is on the way, Spire is on the way. I believe I saw an infestation bit earlier. Yeah, there it is. So we can go into Hive. Hive starts on Q. So he's just been able to tech and just do whatever he wants for so long. Is it going to be worth it here in the end for StarDuck? StarDuck, who again is still trying to get into the swing of things, and yeah, just giving HateMe so much freedom.
Yeah, I feel like the big problem is that he doesn't have a lot of AoE. He does have these high Templars with Storm now finished, but once the Storms are out, this is it. Like, this is just his gateway army.
Yeah, exactly. It's so we'll see, especially because, you know, sure we have a bunch of high Templar, but it still comes down to the Storms themselves. Oh my god, so yes, be so careful here dancing with these Lings. High Templar not going to be not too far behind them, supporting with those Storms. At the same time, HateMe goes for a massive Ling run by looking to deny this 5th base.
Yeah, at the same time, there is that army in the north as well, so StarDuck has to be careful how he splits his forces.
Yeah,
And he decides to just give up on this base.
Yeah, he's forced to cancel. We do have a High Templar zoning away the army with that Storm. Again, it is more of a zoning Storm than anything. And the scary thing is that with all this freedom, HateMe is taking up to Greater Spire. He is looking to eventually get into Broodlords.
Yeah, we even have Adrena on the way as well, so these Lings will be that much stronger too, so and there is still a lot of them, so StarDuck has to be really careful about how he moves on the map.
Exactly. +3 attack on the way as well for those Lings. Do see the army trying to skirt around. Storm does connect with the Ling Bane. Actually, a really good Storm, but there was only one, and there's still plenty of roaches here to deny the base.
Yeah, indeed. Like, it's nice that he landed a nice Storm, but there's still so much army left, and they actually get a kill on this Nexus.
Yeah, that was a kill, not a cancel. And you know what? HateMe wanted to get rid of a little bit of supply because he is making his first wave of Corruptors going straight into Broodlords. And StarDuck just hasn't seen this. He hasn't scouted. He has a decent army against Ground Zerg, don't get me wrong, but we don't have a transition to Skytoss. We have a Stargate, but again, just StarDuck is in the dark.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a lot of Blink Stalkers, so that's nice. You can always blink under the Broodlords, but there's only so much these Stalkers can do when there's already 8 Broodlords on the way.
Yeah, and I'm worried that that may be the nail in the coffin. I don't know. Like, there's a world where StarDuck can scout this. He does have the Oracle, but he doesn't move out across the map. He still doesn't know about the tech of choice here for HateMe. He's still, I'm sure, hoping about the ground toss. He's working on Immortals, so it looks like he is hoping or anticipating a transition from +3 Lings into Ultras. So Immortals would be amazing against Ultras right now, but it's just not what we're seeing.
Ooh, and these cannons actually have slots between them, so now the Lings just run straight in and surround them. The Stalkers try to help to defend this base, but I think they will save it, but the Lings keep going.
Yeah, the Lings keep going. They will be cleaned up in the end. We see a contamination on the building Nexus. You almost never see that, by the way. That looks crazy.
By the way, that doesn't work.
Oh my god. We have an Overseer diving into the main base as well. The Stargates have been spotted, and I'm sure HateMe is smiling to himself because he knows how late those Stargates are.
Yeah, they only just were built and there's no army waiting here. The Immortals have to run away from all these Broodlings, and the Zerglings are there for backup.
Yeah, exactly. Queens are here as well to transfuse and keep those Broodlords alive. I appreciate the mass transition into Stargates, but StarDuck is maxed. He has to get rid of some of this army to make room for Tempest.
Yeah, and it will be a while before he can make them. Ooh, nice Storms though, at least getting rid of some of the Lings, but the Broodlords are still there.
Yeah, exactly. We have one Tempest on the way, but again, only one. StarDuck has to slowly trade this army, but he's forced into a big fight.
That he is. He's trying to storm the Ling Bane, and a lot of it is falling, but there's still so much left. Now the Immortals are getting caught in the fire, and this army like got cut in half.
Yeah, every single High Templar just went down. The Broodlords are still making chase. There's still so many of them. Transition into Ultras are on the way as soon as these Immortals go down. But we have 5 Tempests coming out. Tempests take a long time, but they're coming.
Yeah, I mean, he is holding position, like he's losing these Immortals, but he doesn't need them that much right now anyway. He blinks the Stalkers forward, taking down a Broodlord or two, which is nice, but the Lings are catching up with the army.
Yeah, a bit of a questionable blink there because the Lings are going to be able to clean everything else up. They do blink behind the wall though, so nice SimCity here available for StarDuck, able to keep the majority of those Stalkers alive. That one Tempest going ham on whatever he can. There we go, another wave of Tempest coming out. We see the transition into Ultras, but I mean, it's just tech that's going to be available. I don't think Ultras are really what we want to see here for HateMe.
Yeah, I don't think so. Now StarDuck has to focus this Tempest on the Queens, on the Corrupt, on the Broodlords. He can't let them shoot at the Zerglings because sometimes they do that, and I don't think that's good for him.
Exactly, Corruptors are coming out. We do have Shield Battery, do we have Overcharge though? We do, but a little bit too late. One Tempest already does go down, and the Overcharge isn't even enough to keep the Tempest alive.
Yeah, I mean, it's hitting the ground units as well, and I don't think it's just enough to hold these forces here. Yeah, Tempest falls one after another, and there are still Broodlords left.
Yeah, there are still Broodlords. We have a Storm on those Corruptors, and the Corruptors are low, but barely still alive. HateMe is breaking on through. At the same time, we have a bit of a Zealot run by here in the pocket base of HateMe, but it's not going to be enough. This base has been broken. Tempest are, Carriers are coming up, but Carriers aren't really what you want against us. I mean, I guess there aren't too many Corruptors, so maybe Carriers can defend. StarDuck does save the majority of his workers, to be fair, and HateMe backs off.
I mean, as we said, that is the one good part about all of this, that like, unlike the previous game, StarDuck is much more well fortified, so it's that much harder for HateMe to push into his bases. So StarDuck is able to buy a lot of time to remake his army, but I just don't know if it's enough time.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he has Carriers now. He has High Templar. No Archons yet. That's really what the unit that we're missing here. There we go. Archons are on the way, so he's transitioning into Skytoss. But HateMe still has a massive bank, still has full control of the map. We have more creeping spread towards the bases of StarDuck. He's keeping an eye on things. Even has a Borrowed Ling here to make sure that StarDuck can't get another base up.
Yeah, I mean, good news is the Carriers are now ready, and I still don't think HateMe has a big army of Kuro. There are 21, which is pretty decent, but I think the Carriers can actually fight it right now.
With this amount of Corruptors, it's all about whether or not the Archons are in position. And speaking of being in position, the Carriers are not here. This Nexus is going to be going down. Nice pick off by HateMe. Just again hindering the economy of StarDuck, not allowing StarDuck to max out.
Yeah. Ooh, even Contaminator, one of the Stargates, delaying the Carriers even more. And yeah, I mean, it does look rough for StarDuck, but he decides to try his luck and moves out.
Yeah, I mean, he has to do something. Like, if he stays at home, I think he recognizes that he will just die. He has to be active in some way, shape, or form. He hasn't even scattered. He does see that the gold base has been taken. He will be able to clean up all these Lings at least and move on towards this southern base. But as he moves out, that does mean that, again, his bases are going to be vulnerable. The Corruptors could dive in and pick off another Nexus.
Yeah, they could, but it looks like instead they want to face the army right on, and they're going towards the Carriers as they are approaching this gold base now.
Yeah, exactly. We have Vipers for Abducts as well. We don't have too many, though. Only 2 Vipers. They are going to be coming in. The High Templar were a little bit too slow there. 2 feedback do land 1-2 Storms on the Corruptors, but not before losing one of those Carriers.
Yeah, good news is the gold base does go down, so it is a small victory for StarDuck. He is harassing the top base as well at the same time, but he has to be so careful about zoning this army.
Yeah, the problem is that HateMe has the ideal army. He has Broodlord, Viper, Corruptor right now, and StarDuck is going to be losing a lot to this. Like, he cannot engage these Broodlords, and there we go. Another yoink, another Carrier goes down. Even the High Templar are exposed.
Yeah, they are now being taken down by the Broodlings one by one. They are trying to throw storms, but they just don't do enough damage to the army of this Zerg.
Yeah, exactly. And now StarDuck is on the retreat. He knows that he just can't fight this. There are just too many Corruptors. Another Carrier falls, and he may have just lost too much here. This base is never going to get up and running. Sure, StarDuck did deny the gold, but it wasn't worth it. HateMe still has a massive bank. He has plenty of money to work with.
Yeah, like, HateMe doesn't actually care that much about the gold base because, I mean, even if he didn't have his massive bank, he has the army that he needs right now. So he just needs to slowly like keep pushing towards StarDuck.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Another yoink. The feedback was a little bit too late there. Another yoink as well. Every single carrier is going to be going down. The Storms are doing what they can. The Archons are doing what they can, but the Broodlords will still survive. They break on through. Another base has been broken. Lings go for a run by here at the Triangular Third, and StarDuck. He fought well getting to this stage. He's even going for a couple of Blink Stalkers to finish off those Broodlords, and he will get the Broodlords, but only a handful.
And with that, GG scores, and HateMe takes the map, takes the series, and takes the whole match for Platinum Heroes.
GG, well played. HateMe does take the series 2-0. My condolences to StarDuck. I mean, he fought his heart out there in that last game, but he was just behind when it comes to teching. Again, he was just assuming that, I'm pretty sure he was just assuming that Ultras were going to be coming out, because that's usually what we see from Zerg players going up against the hero style. Going into Broodlords is just very, very greedy tech-wise, but HateMe could afford to be greedy because StarDuck was so defensive. So that was really smart teching from HateMe, and StarDuck was just a little bit too blind there in the end to win that.
I mean, to be fair, there was an Ultras cavern on the map. Like, it was technically prepared, but as you said, like, HateMe didn't have to switch to Ultras, so he just didn't.
Yeah, exactly. GG, well played. Congratulations to HateMe, and congratulations to Platinum Heroes for taking the series and moving on to the finals of Rak'Shir Team League. We got close, but alas, we do have to bow out here in the semis. I mean, at least we all still walk away with some money for our troubles. But again, unfortunately, we won't make it to those finals yet. Next time though, next time.
This was the first season we were here and we got to the semifinals. With all the teams that we've seen in this team league, I think that's a pretty good result.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I know CranKy Ducklings aren't really too well known, especially amongst all these other teams, but you know, we took down some big names. We took down Team Super, we took down Psystorm Gaming, License to Kill, Genesis Gaming, Alien Esports. Like, we took down a lot of big names to get to the semis. And we almost made it to the finals. Almost.
Yeah, still good job to all the players, including the CranKy Ducklings players. They did like put a lot of work into this season, and they played some crazy series throughout it. And you know, even though we didn't get to the finals, I'm still pretty proud of our run this season.
100%. I'm really proud of our players, like everyone who participated and who helped out here. Dolan, Vindicta, StarDuck, Eric, even Ryu participated in this tournament as well, in the group stage. So yeah, I'm really proud of all of our Ducklings. We made it really far. I know we can go further next time, but even here with this result, I'm very happy with how much we have been able to accomplish. GG.
Yeah, GG.
And
we'll see you next.
Yeah, and best of luck to Platinum Heroes. Best of luck to Berserker Esports, because I do see that Berserker Esports are already in the finals, so it's going to be that Berserker Esports versus Platinum Heroes grand finals for Rak'Shir. So best of luck to those teams. Again, it does mean that we won't have another one of these broadcasts next week. Kind of, because we do have a show match next week. Alpha X have invited us over, and we are going to be playing against Alpha X in another best of 7.
Yeah, and this will be a very special event because this will be a team show match. So it will be kind of similar to what we have today, where we're gonna have multiple players being featured on the broadcast, and I hope to see you there because that is pretty exciting.
Yeah. Exactly. It's going to be an exciting show match, an exciting series as well. They're going to be having with Alpha X. So if you're interested, that's going to be next week. 6 days from now, not 7. It's going to be on the Saturday night, not Sunday night. So a day earlier. But yes, we still have another Team League match ahead of us. And the next season of BTL is starting up soon as well. And because our roster is looking to get a little bit larger, little bit of a teaser there, we are going to be taking part in Berserker Team League. So look forward to our performance there. And you know what, Platinum Heroes, GG, good job. But we'll get you next time, all right?
Oh yeah, no,
I look forward to the rematch, okay? I look forward to the rematch.
Look, look. You don't take us down twice. That's all I'm saying.
Oh god, exactly. Exclamation mark Matcherino in the chat, by the way. If you guys want to have a look at the Matcherino page, you can contribute to the prize pool if you wish. But so that is available to you there if you are interested. Regardless, GG, well played to Platinum Heroes, well played to all the players who did compete today. And yeah, I guess we'll see you guys for the next broadcast, which will be Sparkling Tuna Cup on Wednesday.
Yes, we will see you on Wednesday. On Wednesday, we have Sparkling Tuna Cup, which is open to everyone, including the pro players and including the amateur players. Anyone can play. So make sure to check it out.
Exactly. Meanwhile, if you want to tune into more of Kuro, I know you've been streaming a little bit more recently. I know you've been playing Stray on stream as well. Where can people find you?
If you want to see me be a cat, go to Twitch TV/16squadsanseki, where I was planning to ladder, but I'm busy, so I'm playing a cat instead. Don't worry about it. Meanwhile, you can check Light at Twitch TV/LightVAP, where he is a Spider-Man.
There you go. I have been streaming Spider-Man recently on my Twitch channel. I've also been laddering as well. So you can follow me there if you are interested. But if you're only interested in our casting, then check us out here on the CranKy Ducklings Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. We're all over the place. And if you want to cheer for our pro team, again, we are going to be playing against Alpha X next week in another series, in another best of 7. So yeah, plenty of StarCraft going on. Plenty of StarCraft.
Oh yeah, we do not stop.
Oh yeah. Oh god. With that, thank you so much everyone for watching, and we will see you guys on Wednesday.
Bye.
Ciao.